Merry Christmas, everyone! No matter what you celebrate, this time of year is all about reflection. So once again, we are going to count down my top 10 favorite reviews of this year. That's right, everyone. It's another Mike's Gaming Gala holiday special. Once again, I've got Santa's sack here. Mrs. Claus says it just keeps giving and giving. So let's take a look at what our first game is on this list. All right, at the number 10 spot in Santa's sack, we have Intellivision for the Intellivision. If you're a Castlevania fan, this is a fantastic port of the classic Castlevania on the Intellivision. This one's published by Intellivision Revolution, and it is just as difficult as the original, if not more so. It's a great port of the NES game, and a great way to start off our list. Alright, let's see what's in the number 9 slot. We have got Dragon Quest for the Intellivision, published by Intellivision Collector. This is a pixel-perfect port of the NES classic JRPG, Dragon Warrior. If you're a fan of old JRPGs, this is one of the best on that system, and now it's on your Intellivision, and it is incredibly impressive that they were able to get everything into this port on the Intellivision. It looks great, it sounds great, I love it so much. So Dragon Quest is number 9 on my list. Okay, at the number 8 spot, we're changing up the console, and we've got Winsley's Guardian for the Game Boy Color. Winsley's Guardian is a top-down adventure game, kind of in the same vein as Link's Awakening. You play as Winsley Walters on a journey through life, from childhood to adolescence to adulthood and even old age. Extra special for me is I'm in this game, and also my grandmother is in this game. And I love just the message and the feeling and the heart that this game gives. And that is why Winsley's Guardian is number 8 on my list. Alright, and now let's take a look at what's number 7 on my list. And that is going to be Copper Jacket for the NES. Do you like shoot 'em ups? This is a great one. If this had come out for the original system, it would have been an absolute hit. Think Atari Warriors crossed with Contra, and you've got Copper Jacket. You'll battle through many levels, some of them absolutely frustrating and absolutely testing every skill you have. But when you beat this game, and it is very beatable thank you to the Infinite Continues, it's an accomplishment, and you'll feel great, and you'll want to come back and try to beat it faster and better with less deaths. Copper Jacket is a great game, highly recommended. Check it out. Number 6 on my list doesn't have a physical release, but you can get it on itch.io, and that is Death Row and Death Row 2. The Death Row games are top-down puzzle games with incredible atmosphere and story. You're slated for the electric chair, and you only have 3 actions a day, but you'll have to use those actions wisely and figure out how to get out of the prison. Can you escape Death Row and make it to your freedom? Time will tell, but I highly recommend giving it a try. Alright, we're into the top 5 now, and what do we have at the number 5 spot? It is none other than Infiltrator for the Intellivision. Do you like Metal Gear Solid? Do you like the Intellivision? This combines the best of both worlds and gives you a game that you can play on your Intellivision that gives you that stealth action vibe. Unfortunately, you have no weapons, so you'll really have to lean on the stealth side unless you plan to run and try to dodge bullets on your way. I'm not gonna lie, this is an incredibly difficult game, but it is also a very rewarding one, and it'll keep you coming back for more and more. And that's why I've put Infiltrator as a number 5 game on my list. At the number 2 spot, we've got something for the Atari 2600, and that is Tutankhamun Arcade by Champ Games. The original Tutankhamun on the 2600 honestly was not very good, and this makes up for that entirely. This gives you that full arcade action with extra levels, extra game modes, and even challenge stages that really push the 2600 to its limits. Once again, Champ Games knocked it out of the park. I love this game, I keep coming back to it, and that's why it makes it to number 4 on my list. Alright guys, we're into my top 3, and these were really difficult to pick which goes where. They're all fantastic games, but at the number 3 slot, I've got Operation Cloudfire for the Intellivision, published by Intellivision Collector. Although I love the mood and atmosphere of Metroid, I've never really been a fan of the Metroidvania genre. This, on the other hand, is a very approachable and great game that gives you that feel and also has a great story behind it. Priority is to protect corporate assets, so no weapons are allowed. You'll have to avoid all security bots and other protective systems and use your wits to beat Daryl for good. The fact that I'm not a huge fan of this genre should speak volumes about what I think of this game. It is phenomenal for the Intellivision and really is a must-have. Alright, rolling on to number 2. We have got TNT Cowboy for the Intellivision, published by Electronite. TNT Cowboy takes Bomberman and gives it RPG elements to give you an experience unlike any other Intellivision game. A small town in the Wild West is being plagued by deadly oversized animals and supernatural creatures. You have to hop on a train and take on the role of a young cowboy in the greatest adventure of his life. There's an overworld where you can talk to the people in the town, and then you get to travel to various different locations to battle enemies with everybody's favorite weapon, dynamite. This is right up there amongst my favorite games for the Intellivision, and I highly recommend it. That's why it gets to my number 2 spot. Alright, before we get to the number 1, I have several honorable mentions. This list was really hard to put together, and these games just barely missed it. Not because they aren't fantastic, but because I tried to choose my list based on experiences and mood, and especially new experiences. So without further ado, I have 3 honorable mentions that I want to point out. Number 1 is Popeye for the Atari 7800. This is a pixel-perfect port. It feels great, it looks great. Mr. Postile would never forgive me if I didn't put it on this list. It absolutely deserves an honorable mention. Next is an absolute favorite of mine, and has been a favorite of mine for a long time. I just chose to leave it off this list because there are other newer experiences that I wanted to share with you, but Juno First for the Atari 2600. This used to be published by Atari Age and is now being published by Champ Games, and I'm so glad that people are able to get a physical copy again because it is an absolutely brilliant game and it's got the best main menu music of any game on the system. And last but not least is another Atari 2600 game, and that is Draconian. Draconian is absolutely a phenomenal port of Bosconian. It deserves to be on this list, but it just dropped to the honorable mentions. Thankfully, again, although this one is not physically available, there is a Draconian Deluxe coming from Champ Games at some point in 2025, and I look forward to that immensely. Alright, can I get a drum roll please, because I'm about to reveal my number 1 favorite game that I've reviewed this year, and it is none other than Anthropomorphic Force for the Intellivision, published by Electronite. I love shmups, and Anthropomorphic Force is arguably the best shmup on the Intellivision, bar none. Vertically scrolling in kind of a Caverns of Mars vibe, your mission comprises 7 tunnels with 3 sections each, and at the end of each tunnel is a massive enemy that you have to battle. The colors and graphics are vibrant, there are special weapons and power-ups that you can collect throughout the game, and though it's hard as hell, Anthropomorphic Force absolutely delivers on that satisfaction of when you beat a level, you really feel an accomplishment. It even uses the IntelliVoice just to add to the experience. This is an absolute must-have for the Intellivision, as are a lot of the other games that I've covered for the system on this list. And that, my friends, is why this is number 1 on my list. And there you go, that's the Mike's Gaming Gala Holiday Special, where I've ranked my top 10 favorite reviews of the year. Again, it was really difficult to do, but I enjoyed doing it because it really makes me dial down what makes a game fantastic. And if your game was anywhere on this list, including in the honorable mentions, you should be really proud of that. So let me know what you think. Did you disagree? Did you agree? And thank you everybody for a great 2024. I hope you have a fantastic holiday season, and we'll see you next time on Mike's Gaming Gala.